Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Midlands online service. My name is Beth Sperry, and I am the worship associate today. If you haven't already, please type your name into the chat box, who you are and who you've brought with you today. Unitarian Universalism is a welcoming and inclusive religion. It encourages us to keep open hearts and mind because our own experience, conscience, and reason are the final authorities in a religion. It affirms the inherent worth and dignity of every person and that we are all connected to each other and to the earth. If you are visiting today, a special welcome to you. We appreciate you spending some of your Sunday morning with us. If you have any questions, please let us know in the chat box, by phone, or through our Facebook page. And if you've been attending for some time and have come to feel that this is your spiritual home and are considering becoming a member of the fellowship, please contact our minister, Reverend Eric Severson, or let us know of your interest in the chat box. If you have a chalice or a candle at home and would like to join in our chalice lighting remotely, now would be a good time to get that ready. We will not be including joys and sorrows this morning, but we will have a ritual of remembrance, loss, and gratitude. You will want to find the participant icon to raise your hand for that. The entire service will be recorded, but personal sharing of remembrance, loss, and gratitude will not be shared on our YouTube channel. We will now move on to announcements, which you will see on your screen. Please join us on Christmas Eve, December 24th at 4:30 p.m. for a special virtual service entitled Treasuring the Radiance, led by our minister, Reverend Eric Severson. This is a service of word and music celebrating the hope and promise marked by the stars and the sparks within us. Next week's service is Treasuring the Dark on December 27th. Join us for a simple service honoring the quiet, dark, inherent in hibernation, and the fallow season, offering us nurturing rest and regeneration, led by our minister, Reverend Eric Severson. Thank you to everyone who contributed to the Minister's Discretionary Fund in 2020. Traditionally, the Christmas Eve worship collection is designated for the Minister's Discretionary Fund. If you are in a position to contribute, please send a check made out to UU Fellowship of Midland with Minister's Discretionary Fund on the memo line to 6220 Jefferson Avenue, Midland, Michigan 48640. But please note that these donations are not tax deductible because they do not go into the fellowship's general fund, but in a separate fund managed entirely by your minister. Your contributions are sometimes desperately needed and are always gratefully received. Thank you again for your generosity. We are still looking for members for our website team. If you are interested in joining, please email Wendy at office@uufom.org. If you wish to make a suggestion or recommendation or would like to provide content, please email Wendy with the information. Our UUFOM board has updated our building closure date due to COVID-19. For everyone's continued safety throughout the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the board of directors has determined that the building will remain closed and in-person activities will remain suspended through June 1st, 2021 at the earliest. The board of directors will continue to reassess based on all available information and continue to regularly communicate updates as conditions evolve.
Joanne.
Which leads me to the next very important announcement. COVID-19 task force volunteers wanted. When COVID-19 hit, a COVID-19 task force was created. Recently, Becky Carlson agreed to head up that task force. Shannon and Beth will be stepping down, and we need people to join Reverend Eric and Becky. The purpose of the task force will be to stay up to date on the situation, including the vaccine rollout, and keep the congregation informed as appropriate. If you're interested, please contact Reverend Eric, Shannon, or Beth, that's me, by email, phone, or on the Facebook Friends page. Thank you for all you do to keep our fellowship family and the wider community safe. All Sunday service announcements for Sunday, December 27, 2020, or Sunday, January 3rd, 2021, should be sent to Sarah Nusswarren at Nusswar, that's NUSSWARR @gmail.com by 5 p.m. Wednesday before the service. Wendy's taken a vacation, a well-needed vacation. Friday was the final distribution of the 2020 weekly calendar flame. In the final edition, you will find board summaries from October and November, along with a farewell message from outgoing board president Shannon Sonoris, who rocked 2020. You will receive the next edition of the weekly candle flame on Friday, January 8th, 2021. If you wish to submit an article for the next issue, please email it to Wendy at office@uufom.org by Wednesday, January 6th at 5 p.m. And that's it for the announcements. Again, welcome. Welcome to this place of peace, this refuge for the weary, as we gather to take strength in the company of one another. If you have come today grieving the loss of a loved one, we welcome you. If you have come today with sadness from a broken relationship, you are welcome here. If the pain of illness or addiction or financial strain or uneasiness with our world has brought you to this place, we welcome you. If you simply need a quiet corner in which to breathe, to reflect, we bid you welcome. Let us be still for a moment in our shared sacred space and listen to the quiet around us. Even in the quiet, there is the gentle being with others. Let us feel the warmth of our community, knowing we are not alone. For in the quiet shadow is the glow of life within all. If you have a candle or chalice at home and would like to light it now, please do so. Please join us in reading our chalice lighting words today by Melanie Davis. If there ever were a time for a candle in the darkness, this would be it. Using a spark of hope, kindle the flame of love, ignite the light of peace, and feed the flame of justice.
Thank you, Beth. Our opening words today are titled, Even When Our Hearts Are Broken, by the Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker. Even when our hearts are broken by our own failure or the failure of others cutting into our lives, even when we have done all we can and life is still broken, there is a universal love that has never broken faith with us and never will. Let us worship together.
Thank you, Reverend Eric. With your mics muted, Please join Melanie Willison in singing our opening hymn, There Is a Love, music by Elizabeth Norton, words by Rebecca Parker.
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all I rest in this love. There is a love holding on. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all we rest in this love. We rest.
Thank you, Melanie. I don't know how many families with kids we have on here today, but I'm going to read this story anyway because it's one of my favorites. It comes from Scandinavian countries and cultures, and it's about an unseen but helpful and loving presence in the world. It's called The Tomten, written by Astrid Lindgren and illustrated by Harold Weiberg. It is the dead of night. The old farm lies fast asleep, and everyone inside the house is sleeping too. The farm is deep in the middle of the forest. Once upon a time, someone came here, cut down trees, built a homestead and farmed the land. No one knows who. The stars are shining in the sky tonight, and the snow lies white all around. The frost is cruel. On such a night, people creep into their small houses, wrap themselves up, and bank the fire on the hearth. Here is a lonely old farm where everyone is sleeping, all but one. The Tomten is awake. He lives in a corner of the hayloft and comes out at night when human beings are asleep. He's an old Tomten who has seen the snow of many hundreds of winters. No one knows when he came to the farm. No one has ever seen him, but they know he's there. Sometimes when they wake up, they see the prints of his feet in the snow, but no one has seen the Tomten. On small, silent feet, the Tomten moves about in the moonlight. He peeps into cowshed and stable, storehouse and tool shed. He goes between the buildings, making tracks in the snow. The Tomten goes first to the cowshed. The cows are dreaming that summer is here, and they are grazing in the fields. The Tomten talks to them in Tomten language, a silent little language that cows can understand. Winters come and winters go, summers come and summers go. Soon you can graze in the fields. The moon is shining into the stable. There stands Dobbin, thinking. Perhaps he remembers a clover field where he trotted around last summer. The Tomten talks to him in Tomten language, a silent little language a horse can understand. Winters come and winters go, summers come and summers go. Soon you will be in your clover field. Now all the sheep and lambs are sleeping soundly, but they bleat softly when the Tomten peeps at the door. He talks to them in Tomten language, a silent little language the sheep can understand. All my sheep, all my lambs, the night is cold, but your wool is warm, and you have aspen leaves to eat. Then on small silent feet, the Tomten goes to the chicken house, and the chickens cluck contentedly when he comes. He talks to them in Tomten language, a silent little language chickens can understand. Lay me an egg, my jolly chickens, and I will give you corn to eat. The dog kennel roof is white with snow, and inside is Carol. Every night he waits for the moment when the Tomten will come. The Tomten is his friend, and he talks to Carol in Tomten language, a silent little language a dog can understand. Carol, my friend, is it cold tonight? Are you cold in your kennel? I'll fetch more straw, and then you can sleep. The house where the people live is silent. They are sleeping through the winter night without knowing that the Tomten is there. Winters come and winters go. I have seen people large and small, but never have they seen me, thinks the Tomten. He tiptoes across to the children's cot and stands looking for a long time. If they would only wake up, then I could talk to them in Tomten language, a silent little language children can understand. But children sleep at night. And away goes the Tomten on his little feet. In the morning, the children see his tracks, a line of tiny footprints in the snow. Then the Tomten goes back to his cozy little corner in the hayloft. There in the hay, the cat is waiting for him, for she wants milk. The Tomten talks to the cat in Tomten language, a silent little language a cat can understand. Of course you may stay with me, and of course I will give you milk, says the Tomten. Winter is long and dark and cold, and sometimes the Tomten dreams of summer. Winters come and winters go, summers come and summers go. Soon the swallows will arrive, thinks the Tomten. But the snow still lies in deep drifts around the old farm in the forest. The stars shine in the sky. It is biting cold. On such a night, people creep into their small houses and bank the fire on the hearth. Here is a lonely old farm where everyone is fast asleep, all but one. Winters come and winters go. Year follows year. But as long as people live at the old farm in the forest, every night the Tomten will trip around between the houses on his small silent feet. I invite anyone who's listening to share this story with others and consider how we might be a little more like the Tomten.
Thank you, Reverend Eric. Our first reading is Snowflakes, a Guide by Reverend Teresa I. Soto. How do we spring back into shape? After a long week, after an election season that drags, a broken heart that's still not healed, raw but beating. No duct tape will cover those cracks. No glue will mend the gap. Some people think they can shame you, make you small by calling you a snowflake. What they don't know is this. The snow is bright because the lines and lacy edges, the crystal stacked, reflect back the light shone down on them. And the light keeps shining just as you do. In this community, you choose each other. You insist on blazing brilliant. Your unique configuration is the universe's expression of what it means to be alive. And together, many snowflakes make a mountain. You return to knowing yourself and being yourself by the clarity of that reflection. You can lay down your burdens and rest. Lean into the place where you belong. Allow the brightness of who you are, both individual and community, to light the way toward the future you are building with your love. Let us share now in an interlude entitled First Snowflake by Ehsan Sabuhi, used under the permission of a Creative Commons license and played for us today by Melanie.
Today we will light 4 candles, one by one. Our first candle is to remember those we have lost, loved and lost. Often, even after we've adjusted to the loss of someone near to us, the holidays are a painful reminder that not all of our loved ones can gather round us. The loss of these friends and family members is more keenly felt. The physical distance between us, because of COVID-19, can make this loss more painful. We take time now to remember the names of our beloveds, their faces, their voices, and the memories that bind them to us in this season. We remember them recognizing that each of us brings different needs to our grief. And so we light our first candle for all those we have loved and lost. Our second candle is to honor loss and sorrow of all kinds. The loss of relationships, the loss of jobs, the loss of health and wholeness. We pause to gather up the pain of the past and offer it to that holy presence within and among us. I offer you these words written by Joyce Ruff as one voice calling out. Compassionate one, I sit with my empty hands, wondering about the losses of my life. I sit with my empty hands, pondering the pain of many goodbyes. I sit with empty hands, searching for decisions about difficult choices. I sit with empty hands, facing the limitations of my aging. I sit with empty hands, looking for my life among the broken pieces. I sit with empty hands, sifting through the dreams that have disintegrated. I sit with empty hands, feeling the ache and sorrow of all my losses. Compassionate one, I sit with empty hands, trusting that your presence embraces my pain, shelters my vulnerability, and gives meaning to my countless losses. Whether or not you find yourselves in these words, we each bear some emptiness. All of us have difficult choices to make, and we share a yearning in the face of loss. And so we light our second candle for all manner of losses in our lives, particularly those we have spoken and left unspoken. Let us sit for a moment with this musical interlude. Thank you, Melanie. Our third candle is to remember ourselves during this holiday time. We pause to remember our own limitations and growing edges and to reflect on the fragility of our souls. Through our limitations, we discover our capabilities. Through our grief and challenges, we often are surprised by the depth of our own wisdom and by the breadth of our own compassion. We also honor in these moments our need to take care of one another, thinking about people in our circle of family and friends who, like us, are experiencing times of messiness, chaos, or difficulty. I offer you these words from George Odell. We need one another when we mourn and would be comforted. We need one another when we are in trouble and afraid. We need one another when we are in despair, in temptation, and need to be recalled to our best selves again. We need one another when we would accomplish some great purpose and cannot do it alone. We need one another in our hour of success when we would look to someone to share our triumphs. We need one another in the hour of defeat, when with encouragement we might endure and stand again. We need one another when we come to die and would have gentle hands prepare us for the journey. All our lives we are in need, and others are in need of us. As I light our third candle, may each of us in the quiet of our hearts reflect on our shared work of healing each other and being companions to one another. All our lives we are in need and others are in need of us. Whatever our struggles or pain, whether fresh or chronic, all of us have received the help of others at one time or another. Some of us have been able to continue with our lives only because of someone's care and support. We light this fourth candle to remember those who have supported and helped us in the past through friendship and love. We pause with thanks to remember those who were strong for us when we lacked strength and whose loving care has sustained us. For each of these names we give thanks. And so we light our fourth candle. Thank you to everyone for participating in this ritual this morning. Let's listen now as our virtual choir, led by Sandy Hay, points us once again toward an enduring hope for peace and goodwill with an anthem titled Christmas Canon of Peace. Words are by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Additional words and music by Ruth Morris Gray, based on Pachelbel's Canon in D. Our accompanist is J.J. Treadway, and audiovisual mixing was done by Sarah Nussbaum.
I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and while they sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to all.
Oh my goodness. Thank you again, virtual choir, and thank you, Sandy and Sarah and JJ. Oh man. Our next reading is A Long, Hard Look by best-selling author Barbara Kingsolver. In my own worst seasons, I've come back from the colorless world of despair by forcing myself to look hard for a long time at a single glorious thing. a flame of red geranium outside my bedroom window. And then another, my daughter in a yellow dress. And another, the perfect outline of a full dark sphere behind the crescent moon. Until I learned to be in love with my life again. Like a stroke victim, retraining new parts of the brain to grasp lost skills, I have taught myself joy over and over again. We affirm the work of this fellowship and its mission through our financial contributions. We continue to rely on you paying your pledges and providing what you would otherwise drop in the collection plate. Please give as generously as you can, and may what you give bring you joy. Instructions will be provided at the end of the service. Let's share now in an offertory by guest musician, Reverend Dan Schatz. Here is what Reverend Schatz says about this piece. The words to this song were written in the 1800s by a Universalist poet named Henrietta Bingham as part of a New Year's blessing. Almost 25 years ago, I put a tune to it, and I've come back to it every once in a while since then. I sometimes think of it as a holiday song that isn't. This year, her words feel especially meaningful as we enter a holiday season in which many of us won't be able to be with people we love, and which will be roughest on those who are already starving for human touch and personal contact. This song, this blessing, is for you.
To all alone, unloved, unknown, whose hearts yet beat with mine as one, bless each and all tonight. Your unshared dreams, your unheard prayers, your secret hopes and fears and cares, find life and place and light. There's not enough of love to lose, there's not enough of joy to choose, yet all deserve life's best. Life is so brief, and grief so strong, and joy so short, and tears so long. Let each and all be blessed. Good friends, beloved, bless keep you all, on everyone rich blessings fall, on all beneath the heavens. Your eyes from tears, your hearts from pain, your homes with joy, your stores with gain. May peace to all be given.
I invite you now to hear this adapted affirmation by the Reverend Gwen Matthews. As December continues before us, we welcome in the gift of reflection. We welcome our holiday celebrations and search for common threads of meaning. We began with Yule, the winter solstice, and we were invited to explore dualities, cycles, and seasons, and to witness the Holly King being overcome by the Oak King. Yule reminds us that all partake in the miracle of renewal. Hanukkah, the festival of lights, commemorated a time of miracles when the faith of the Jewish people sustained them to reclaim their holy temple and keep the light of the menorah burning for 8 days. Christmas, the celebration of Jesus' humble birth in a manger, offers us to revisit the miracle of birth and the desire to find saviors to heal the scars of humanity. Here in our fellowship, you are just as much a holiday miracle as the turning of the earth, as persistence and dedication to a faith, as the creation of each new life. We see the love you give to others, the space you create to hold one another's joys and sorrows, and the generosity and spirit you entrust to this community. You are the holiday miracle. This community is one of miracle makers. Now, with your mics muted, please join Melanie in singing our closing hymn, Go Lift It Up, by Mortimer Barron. We'll sing it through twice. Thank you again, Melanie. Please join me in closing today's service by reading these words by the Reverend Amy Zucker Morgenstern. When we take fire from our chalice, it does not become less, it becomes more. And so we extinguish our chalice, but we take its light and warmth with us, multiplying their power by all of our lives and sharing it with the world.
Thank you for joining us today. Thank you to everyone who helped make this service possible. And thank you for joining us. If you can stay to chat, that's great. If you need to go, we understand. Whatever you may encounter this coming week, please know that the love of this community goes with you. Until we are together again, many, many blessings.